Hello, welcome to Confidence Through Cabaret. My name is Heather, and I'm so glad that you're here. Today is Let's Get Personal. So this is the day, this is Mondays. No, this isn't. This is Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is. This is the day where we talk about, confidence in a personal life. So we talk about work life, personal life, and stage life at different times in Confidence Through Cabaret. And we always look for starting from where we're strong, and then we look for ways to develop in confidence in the areas that we want to have confidence. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about, energies. And I said yesterday on Masterclass Monday, I'm not a big fan of talking about masculine energy and feminine energy, but for want of a better common language, we'll go with that. The feminine energy in us is about our intuition, or our kind of gut feeling, our this tiny voice, however you want to describe intuition, or however you relate to it in your own body. Feminine energy is about relating to our senses. Feminine energy is the creativity and is about nurturing and feeling and recognizing the experience through our senses, of course. And when we are just being, that's our feminine energy. When we are trying to collaborate or work together, that's our feminine energy coming through, because there's a feeling, right? There's a desire, there's a feeling that we want to collaborate. There's a feeling of, what do you need, what do I need? So there's, by definition, assertiveness behavior going on in there. And we're expressive when we're in our feminine energy, and we're more likely to be receiving. So we've talked quite a lot in Confidence Through Cabaret. Please do join us on Facebook in our Confidence Through Cabaret community. We've talked quite a lot about, are you someone who prefers to be giving, or are you someone who prefers to receive? And when we're in the feminine energy, it's about receiving. I mean, it's not quite that cut and dried, but we're more likely to be open to receiving. And for a lot of us, we're not so good. I'm not so good at receiving. I'm much better at giving, because that's part of the masculine energy. So yesterday we had Masterclass Monday, and we introduced our masterclass on confidencethroughcabaret.com, which that if you go onto that landing page, there is tons of content. This might be where you're finding this video on our video logs. You might have also found this on IGTV or on YouTube, but we are so honored to be featuring masterclasses. And this week we had River Starlight talking about elemental touch, which is very much about the feminine and very much about the deep cleansing breath, creating space and just feeling into our body. And tomorrow we'll be featuring more about the divine feminine, and I will tell you all about that tomorrow. But that's our podcast, which you will find on Confidence Through Cabaret every Wednesday, anywhere you find your podcasts, also on our landing page at confidencethroughcabaret.com. So by definition then, masculine energy is not necessarily the opposite, but is quite a different energy to the feminine energy of that feeling and receiving and nurturing and creativity. And I just want to caveat this by saying feminine energy is not specific to females, anatomically or femme identifying. All of us have feminine energy. And likewise with masculine energy, that's not related to males or men or male identifying. We all have some masculine energy as well. Masculine energy is more about, kind of the logical thought, is more about action or doing, is more about things like, risk taking without consulting, sometimes without consulting our feeling, although sometimes we do a little bit of a, let me consult my feminine side, see how that feels, and then take the risk. Masculine energy is more of a diving right in. It can be a more, when we're using our controlling self, it's more of a controlling energy. When we're competitive, it's a more of a masculine energy. When we're using our thought, when we're detached and we're using logic, that is us using our masculine energy. And also when we're giving. So I'm doing something by giving to you, right? So that is what we would categorize as more masculine energy. And it's interesting because I have very strong masculine energy. I have very much about doing and giving and drive and productivity, being productive, or producing, to-do lists, and measuring by how much I'm doing, by drive. That is quite a masculine energy. But I also have a very feminine energy in that I make my decisions based on feeling. I build my decisions based on how I feel, how others feel. So see that duality of, so how do I feel, feminine energy, receiving, and then also the giving. So how do others feel? And we've talked here before about assertive behavior, and that would be that kind of considering others and myself, and then what do we need to do, or what very often that's what we're communicating. um, if you're talking about something like resolving conflict, that tends to come from a masculine place. And we'll talk more about that on Thursday when we talk about work life, because that's often where conflict and resolutions and those kind of things come up. But I wanted to just spend some time today talking about those different energies, and really, giving you an opportunity to consider. I have a very high feminine energy and a very high masculine energy. So I'm drive. How does it feel? How does it feel? How does it feel? But I would have to say my masculine energy comes up a lot in that. How do I feel? It's kind of, how do I feel about what I'm doing? How do I feel about, have I done enough? How do I feel about, um, and so at the root of most of my feeling is the masculine productivity side of things. And I kind of drive with my masculine energy, and then reflect with my feminine energy on how am I feeling about that. And when we went into 2020 and we went into lockdown, and my work was, I couldn't travel globally. I couldn't run large conferences anymore, or at that point. So I really had to get more in touch with my feminine feeling. And what I learned, for me anyway, is that I use my masculine energy to hide from myself what my true feelings are. So I've shared with you a few times that in the last few weeks, my mother passed away. And so right away, I wanted to get busy and say, okay, so what else do I need to do? So we do in Confidence Through Cabaret, we have our video logs, which are on YouTube and IGTV. We have a blog, which we just started. We have podcasts that we appear on, and that others appear on, so that we're constantly recording. We have master classes to recording. We have a website to build. We have a Facebook community. We're on all the social medias, all on Confidence Through Cabaret, by the way. But what I found was my to-do list got even more tightly packed in the day. And that was because I wanted to stop the feeling. And what I learned in 2020 is that you can't hide from that stuff. All I was doing was cramming it down and not accessing my feminine side. And so even in my dance world, I was cramming in 15, 16 classes a week. I was like, drive, always working out. And I thought, oh, this is very feminine, because what I do is very flowy and very in touch with my body. And oh yeah, I'm very feminine energy. But actually what it was doing was, how many more classes can I do? How much stronger can I be? How much, and I wasn't actually feeling into it. I knew how I felt, like as in my muscles were sore, or I felt good about being able to achieve something, or practice something until I could do it. But when I consulted my, how do I really feel? How do I breathe? Do I breathe deeply enough? Do I care for myself well enough? What do I actually need? I wasn't so good at those things. And then the floodgates opened because, of course, feeling came out. In that time when I'd crammed things down, I had been a carer, I'd been a mother, my children had left home. I had feelings about that. I ignored those. I had it all worked out. I knew how to do it. I had a plan. My husband passed away. I did not have a plan for that. And as soon as all the labels went, leveled the playing field. And then COVID, a few other things happened in there. I had a serious car accident and all kinds of other things that happened in there, and I still managed to ignore it. When I had my car accident, I had neck and spine injury, and I just went, okay, so what do I need to do from home? What do I need to be doing to look after things? Um, but when COVID came and there weren't those things to do, it all poured out, and wow, was it enlightening. So I processed, I allowed myself to feel, I got quiet more often, and some days it didn't feel good. Most days it didn't feel good, actually, if I'm honest. And then I started to get better at being in touch with that and saying, okay, it's okay to feel this way, and just let it feel that way. And what I'm working on right now is keeping in touch with that feminine feeling, keeping in touch with, you know, things that truly honor, keeping in touch with processing and allowing those feelings. Because when I let those out, I had so much more space in my body. It was amazing. And so I would ask you, do you drive with more masculine energy, or do you allow the feelings of more feminine energy? Are you in touch with your feminine side? I don't care what gender you identify with, or if you're non-binary, you have both of those. We all have those. Um, and I mean, there's a whole other topic around toxic masculinity, and not allowing men to, or the male, to feel, and not allowing the female to be driven, and putting labels and judgments around those things, which are unacceptable. But I think, when we're in touch with both of those sides, we make time for ourselves. For the feminine side, we make time for self-care. I had a little meltdown last week, because I was ignoring my grief, and I had been through a very tough January with my taxes, and having to go through the last year of my late husband's life in the diary to work out some of the accounts questions. And that, with the deadline, and so I just went into doing mode, and I came out of that. And the first couple of weeks of February, the feminine side came pouring out, and I let it, and I'm still working on it. But if I don't, I'll suppress it. And that's when I start to feel out of control in terms of my emotions, and in terms of my body, and in terms of, um, really living, really experiencing life. Because when we're always in the doing and the driving and the competing, and then we lose touch with ourselves, and we lose touch with others, and we lose touch with just the simple pleasures of going outside for a walk, or whatever it is that you like doing. And so it's not just a case of going running, or doing your exercise. It's a case of just really allowing yourself to feel it. And that is indulgence, and that is self-care, and that is not only great and wonderful, it is essential. So do check out River Starlight's masterclass. That's on our confidencerecabaret.com. When you make a profile, you can check out the masterclass. Also check out Alice Zaffer's movement class that we did in a podcast. So you can check that out anywhere you get podcasts, or on our landing page again. But the beautiful thing is, when we feel into our feminine energy, we get to really connect, and we get to really feel into that. And we get to explore who we are, and what we need, and what we want. And those things are not weaknesses. Those things are essential. Thank you for being with me. Join us on confidencethroughcabaret.com. Join us in Confidence Through Cabaret community on Facebook. We have such a supportive community, and we did such a beautiful falling in love with you challenge last week, which you'll find permanently in the units. So it doesn't matter when you're seeing this, it's still in the units. So get involved. There's a whole workbook around it. There's a whole workbook about how do you feel in your body, what's led to that, what's that like to feel it, exploring indulgences, exploring giving yourself time, exploring trying new things, and enjoy. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow we're launching our podcast, which is the Divine Feminine. I'm so excited. I'm not going to tell you any more about that, but Akriti Kundu is such a great friend of our community, so I wouldn't want you to miss that podcast. We are on all the socials, Confidence Through Cabaret, except for Twitter, which is at YBYWYS, and Clubhouse, I am at Heather YBYWYS. I'm just about to start rooms all about leadership and communication and connection. So join me there. Those letters, they stand for your body, your world, and your stage. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you again tomorrow. Please like and subscribe and enjoy.